share my screen and I will get started. Okay. So we need to look at our essay assignments here and hop down onto rhetorical analysis of a piece of media. Got a couple of things here. Just a basic blurb on a rhetorical analysis. Resource here for helping students find sources to analyze. Some of the hyperlinks are out of date on this, but you could still potentially look up the URLs or just Google them. So here's the assignment itself. Fake news, rhetorical analysis of the media. In the past few years, fake news has become a major controversy around the world, especially in the United States. These conversations about fake news have raised fundamental questions about how we define facts, how we use information to support our arguments and form our worldviews, and ultimately how we determine what's true. For this paper, we'll take a step back and look at fake news as part of a broader spectrum of news credibility. This paper's primary purpose is to further develop the critical thinking and information literacy skills helpful for evaluating and analyzing the rhetorical elements of news sources. Another purpose of this paper is for students to reflect on the broader significance and relevance of news and credibility in the scientific world today. Some basics about the essay: should be 4 to 5 pages, double space, standard margins, 12-point Times New font, Times New Roman, or a similar font. And in this paper, students will analyze a selected news article's rhetoric. Okay, students should focus on evaluating the source's credibility, ethos, but also consider the article's logos as well, and the pathos. MLA format is required for this particular assignment. You must cite at least 2 credible sites, 2 credible sources to support your argument. You can use Zimdar's classifications and the CRAP test for the sources for your paper if you like. Those are given here at the bottom or about midway down on the assignment. Zimdar's, they're both hyperlinks, so you can go right to them. The task and the audience. Select an online news article. It should preferably relate to some sort of aspect of science or technology, but if it doesn't, and you're having a hard time finding things that you would like to, or an article that you would like to evaluate, it's possible that I could make an exception. Please just email me and we can go from there. And realizing I didn't finish the paragraph before this, and I want to mention it because it's, I think, an important point. So that, remember when you, in anything that you write, really any paper for university, you want the source to appear. If you mention the source in the body of your paper, you must have a citation for it at the end, and vice versa. If there's a citation for something at the end, you need to mention it somewhere in your paper. Otherwise, you just need to take that source out. Okay. So back to the task and audience. Select one online news article that must relate to science or technology that fails the CRAP test and exemplifies one or more of Zimdar's classifications. So it falls under fake news or junk science and satire, so on. And then you'll want to talk about that in your paper. Now, one note, I tend to not like students to use a satirical article for this paper because it changes the rhetoric, essentially. You would need to look at different things, and we didn't talk about all that would be related to looking at satire in an analysis. So please try to stick to non-satirical articles. Also, you're going to need to contextualize the article and its classification. Again, mention where it falls on the classifications and discuss the significance or relevance of both in your conclusion. Use textual evidence from your article, so the piece of news media that you find, and from the class readings, your own research through UAF library if necessary, and or the internet. Write your paper to an academic audience with a diverse range of political perspectives. So some tools that I have given you folks for evaluating credibility and analyzing rhetoric, you can find them right here in this handy list. These will help you do the steps for your paper. It'll make it easier for you, and I want you to use these sources. So this is where you find Zimdar's classifications. It's basically a list of types of dubious news or dubious, I guess, rhetoric. Helps you define sources on the internet as it helps you classify certain items on the internet in helpful ways for this particular assignment. The CRAP test should help you evaluate the credibility of the online sources you're finding. That will help you to determine whether or not that would be an appropriate article for this assignment. Another helpful piece is 10 questions for fake news detection. You can find that right here by clicking on it. Oh shoot, no, they're not. Okay, sorry. They're in readings and resources in the folder titled readings. You can find those there if you need. I believe these also were assigned readings, so you could also find them in the weekly folders, respective of the week that it was assigned in. To find that out, you could look at the class schedule. Okay, so some of the questions that you're going to be answering in your rhetorical analysis. Use the following questions to help you get started. How would you classify the article using Zimdar's classifications, and why? Who wrote the article you'll analyze? Was there an author mentioned at all? Maybe not. That might be something to talk about in your analysis, if so. What is the purpose of the article, and who is its intended audience? What problems do you see with the article's credibility? So ethos, intrinsic ethos, extrinsic ethos, okay? What appeals to emotion or logical fallacies or logos does the article use? And why does this article fail the CRAP test, or how does this, how does this affect the article's credibility? So here's some tips and further resources. Focus on rhetorical analysis. There's a clear synopsis right there about what Texas A&M considers to be the definition, best working definition of rhetoric and rhetorical analysis. I've also recorded a lecture on rhetoric and rhetorical appeals and the rhetorical analysis. I'm putting that up, and that will be available for you as well. But here, the definition is, rhetoric is the study of how writers and speakers use words to influence an audience. A rhetorical analysis is an essay that breaks a work of nonfiction into parts and then explains how the parts work together to create a certain effect. Okay, absolutely. Go ahead and read the rest on your own time. It's an excellent distillation of rhetoric and rhetorical analysis. I suggest that you work with a 3-level or advanced thesis statement. Try to follow questions using, try to use the following questions to help you develop a working thesis statement. Conclusion, how would you evaluate your source's credibility and classify it using Zimdar's list? Premises, what is problematic about the source's rhetoric, ethos, logos, pathos? And the significance, why is this article and articles like it with the same classification important or relevant to you, your audience, and our world in general? Be sure to move beyond the 5-paragraph essay structure. In fact, you should be doing about 1 idea per paragraph max, and your essay is going to need to be longer than 5. So that should go without saying, but I like to remind students as well. Be sure to develop and organize your paragraphs around the points of your rhetorical analysis. So your thesis should help structure your argument, and then each paragraph, body paragraph, should build and flow off of that logically. Make sure to have an effective and unique title introduction and conclusion. Okay, so find a hook that's going to draw in the reader, and in your conclusion, make sure to wrap that up and tie up any loose strings you might have. You will need to include a works cited page and in-text citations for any reference you make to other people's work. There should be enough information in both the ZIMDARS classification and the CRAP test to write a working end citation, or you can also Google the original sources and find them in that way. But you will need to write entries for ZIMDARS and the CRAP test as well. And finally, edit your sentences for clarity and concision. We like to be clear and focused and concise. Okay, well, that pretty much is it. I do recommend that you watch the video I've made that is helpful for students. It's called, hold on, let me find the title of it. Nope, well, that's, stop my share screen real quick. It's called Classical Rhetoric and Rhetorical Analysis. I should have been able to remember that. I just got all flustered. In any case, I recommend you watch that. It will definitely help you succeed on the rhetorical analysis of a piece of media paper. All right, if you have any questions, please send me an email.